Okay. Going over Shadows replay. It's going to be a 5700 MR carry Sven replay. Let me just go ahead and pull that up. Your summary for this is that the map for this game felt like it was nearly impossible for us to group because of the enemy's ability to push and our inability to deal with it super efficiently. I think we did a very good job overall of our grouping timings, but I'm not really sure what we could have done this game. P.S. The last 10 minutes or so, we were rushing to end because we had someone who had a hard stop at about 65 minutes into the game, so the plays there were very forced. Yeah, for the sake of the replay analysis, like, we'll probably go about 40 minutes, maybe 50. At most. So the notes that I have for you, looking at your game, is that in the laning stage, we're looking at minimizing, like, we're talking like 5-10 minutes. We're looking at minimizing how much time you're showing in lane, being more dynamic with your pulls and farming camps. So I'm going to keep an eye out for that. And then, as the game goes on, let me just pull up our notes again. Yeah, so we're going to be looking for times you guys group up and minimizing chain feeds when the status quo does not favor you. What's going on here? Okay. So we'll zoom a little bit through the laning phase because I don't think your first 5 minutes were the biggest issue for us to focus on. Yeah, I don't think I would really try to fight at the rune when they have a bunch of stuns. I always kind of ask myself how many stuns they have, but I think it's kind of inevitable to feed sometimes. They're like tri-laning you to start. You're starting the lane under a lot of pressure. Looks like you were trying to defensive aggro and it didn't work. Would love to see what's going on with the enemy range creep. I think a range creep died outside of your vision. Yeah. Oh, wait, it got denied. Like, what happened here? Yeah, this one. I feel like I would have loved to see what happens to this creep. I know you're 5700 MMR, but I always emphasize to everybody it's like a laning fundamental that we want to see every creep dying. I just don't feel like you gave yourself, a decision to stun it or not. Maybe you just kind of wrote it off, and that's fine, but I pretty much always try to look. Okay. Yeah, so you're just playing the lane pretty chill with defensive aggro. It's nice to do with Wyvern, because Wyvern's not the most powerful lane support. Gonna fast forward. He's DC'd. Okay. Yeah, I see what you were trying to do there. You're like trying to min-max the pull plus getting the Lotus, and then you're a bit late. So like this whole time, my issue is that I have no idea what's going on over here. I just have like no idea what this guy's doing from your point of view. And that's like a really big deal to be seeing like what's going on further up in the lane. Are they staticking the wave? Are they pushing it into you? How many creeps is it? When do you have to go back? I don't think this is stuff that you can get accurate information by just looking at minimap. Yeah, so I think for the first 5 minutes or so, it's mainly this just a bit of camera control work that I have issue with. I think the rest of your fundamentals here are pretty solid. Now your Wyvern's doing you guys like swapped the carry pulls and then the support feeds. That's pretty funny. Yeah, I like I like what you're doing. You're definitely being overall like very dynamic with the pulls, which is nice. Storm ganks for you. 6 minutes. Gave yourself a couple mangoes. I can see why you would do that. I'm not sure if I would do that, but I can see why you would. I don't hate it, and I don't love it. Yeah, if I had mangoes, I'd definitely keep them. They are HP regen, which is pretty nice. It's not like you have your sustain just yet. This whole time, I'd love for you to be looking at the lane to see what the lane's doing. Just lane equilibrium-wise. I have just absolutely no clue. So it looks like you're being a lot more dynamic with the pulls and being off-map. Now, the next step for you is, which is great, we need to add monitoring of the lane a lot more. Like, I don't think in the last minute and a half I've seen this. I just have no idea what's going on. So what you want to be doing is you're over here, and while you're hitting a jungle camp, you just do this, and then you look back, and you're kind of like evaluating lanes during this time, and I just think it's really important information to gather. So we had to get you doing this first, which is good. You clearly made progress. And I think the next step for this is to monitor lanes a bit better. I wonder how Sven feels after removing his Vanquisher innate. I feel like that was kind of a big part of the hero. So, like, this is an instance where I really want you laning. It's so important that you, like, see the map right now where, like, Slardar is pushing the lane in, and then you're, like, jungling here, and I would be seeing this. I'd be like, oh, I'm level 7 and Slardar is level 6. I see Shaman bottom. Like, if Shaman was missing, this is different. But when I say laning, it's not necessarily that you need to be, like, laning as normal, but you can't... I don't want you to just let the creeps die to tower. Like, I would want you chilling, like, right here. And when you see Slardar, you'd be, like, laning like this, you know? And you see, like, Lion leave. And the problem with this is when Lion leaves, you're back here rather than, like, near the lane. So you would have been getting lane XP, you'd be killing these camps right now, and then you'd be back in lane. So we've kind of just missed, like, honestly, 8 to 12 lane creeps worth of XP because you're retreating to the jungle too far. And I don't think you're going to make that decision properly if you're not consistently looking at the lane. You're not... Whenever you're jungling dynamically like this, you need to be consistently monitoring the lane to identify times where you would go back. So maybe even if you looked, you wouldn't go back. For me, the biggest issue is to look. If we don't have you looking, then you're not going to know to go back. And something I've been emphasizing to carries of all MMRs is to try to be as sticky to your lane as possible. And I think if like 10 out of 10 is like perfect level of stickiness to the lane, you're at like a 5. So yeah, you return to lane with your mid ganking for you, which is nice. Yeah, you're pulling. I think that's a bit late for a pull, but I also don't hate it. Yeah, the only thing I really hate here is I just have no... Like, you're missing all of this. Your tower's just dying for free. And you're... Like, this is a result of you not checking the lane for the last 10 minutes, right? Or last 5 minutes. Like, if we were consistently monitoring this and thinking about it, then you'd be seeing this. You'd be like, oh, it's coming back. I have 1 creep. I'm going to, like, return to wave after this jungle camp. Instead of going from this camp to this camp, you go back to wave. And your tower kind of just died. Like, they never concertedly pushed your tower, and it kind of just died, which sucks. I think that's why... Like, I think that's a good case in point of, like, what being sticky to the lane does, is it prevents the chip damage on your tower and inevitably makes them commit to kill your tower, which is when you have to leave. Same thing here. You're not showing in lane at all. I think you might have taken not showing in lane a bit too far. I think you're kind of being off map too much now, which I could see how that's like... Yeah, this is good. You see a fight top and you push mid tower. I like that. This is great. Yeah, this is great. That was all great. Now you TP top. Perfect. Perfect. You're going to push the wave and back off. Very nice. So given the map right now, when you backed off, I would do this. Because you're either going to go back this way based on what you see, or you're going to go to this wave. But now it's like, you're kind of just in the corner of the map. You're going towards mid now. Maybe you were afraid to walk that way, which is, like, understandable, actually. Now your team's mid. That was a pretty small, minute detail. You're going to walk towards top. You're finishing your blink. Your God Strength is up. You guys have Ravage. Yeah, nice, nice. Okay, very good. Good initiation. Should TP mid right now, I think, or run there. If you want to farm there, that's fine. That works too. Yeah, I think farming there with a blink is good. I like your movement here. I would have cleared the next wave. Seeing them respawning and Lion being bottom. So team's kind of feeding without you, and you're going to run to the wave. It's good. So in this case, you're running down the lane, but like just seeing the fight, you're not going to apply meaningful pressure here, so I would do this plus this into wave. I think this is just a bit inefficient. I don't hate it, though. I'm fine with what you did. I would just do it that way. I actually don't hate it. Maybe I'm fine with what you did. Maybe I think it's personal preference and exact moments would be close. Okay. Gonna look for more. So I would go through gate right now. So right now you're supposed to go through gate or TP top. Like right this moment. Your three options are go through gate to top, TP mid, or TP top. Those are the three options right now. Because they're dead for 40. You have no God Strength. You're 500 gold off of your next item. All we need, you don't have Ravage, you don't have Curse, you don't have God Strength. Like, you're not looking to fight right now, so we're not trying to push a tower. We're not trying to take an objective. We are just pushing waves and farming. I can't emphasize enough how important it is that you understand that you're not trying to go for more objectives in this moment, because the amount of time it takes you to get to the tower is the amount of time it takes them to respawn. And that the longer it takes you to get to the other lanes, that basically tells me your MMR. If it takes you 15 seconds from here, that's probably about like a 4 to 5k player. But like, I'm telling you, at the highest level, somebody would TP out or go through the gate within 1 or 2 seconds right now. And I'm just telling you what to optimize for, not to like make you feel bad. How long does it take you to go somewhere else? Yeah, see, that makes sense. So you have the right idea. We just want to do it faster. Because now, by the time you want to push top, they're all respawned, which sucks. And you're going to, like, farm off map. And, okay, you're good to push it now. It's just slow. It's just a little bit slower than it could be. You're on the right track, though. Honestly, a lot of the way from 5k plus is actually just speed of decision-making. So you see them on the map. I would want you to see this. I would need you to see this and go forward. So it was in my notes that when you see a bunch of people on the map, that your sense of urgency goes up. So you were asking me, it felt like they were split pushing a lot and it was tough to group. These are the moments that decide that. When you see all of them on the map and instead of hitting jungle creeps, you hit lane. Like, if you hit lane in these moments, every time it happens in the game, that problem is mitigated. It's not that the problem goes away, but it's not a problem that gets solved by like some grand gesture, right? It gets solved by consistent, disciplined sense of urgency based on the information we see on the map. So when you see information, the more information you have, the higher sense of urgency your lane pushing needs to be. So right now, what would be perfect based on the exact circumstance in the game, all of the information you have, I'd be checking Tide Ravages in 50. You have God Strength already available. You have BKB and you have TP in 14 seconds. So what I would probably do is I would go to this wave, clear it based on what I see right now, and then I would probably go through the gate to connect to this bottom fight right now, because I don't want to be alone on the map against all of these disables for very long. Like we talked about, showing on lanes less and less time, like not about of how often we show, but the time we show on lane to be less. So when we're at like high threat, meaning like they have Lion, they have Shadow Shaman, they have Slardar, when we show on lane, it's for one wave and that's it, right? Like when we're by ourselves, we don't like walk down lanes unless we continue to have that information. But that was more early game. And now we're in the like mid to mid stage of the game where you're really strong, you have your items. So our purpose for pushing these lanes is to allow us to connect to fights, and when we win the fights, the lanes are already pushed in, and then we can get stuff done. So this type of thing, 5 to 10 times a game, is what makes you have the problem that you felt in this game. So like now you're gonna stay top. So like instead of staying top farming this whole time, you would have pushed the wave, gone through gate, and been with your team right here and maybe fucked them up. It's like a huge difference. It's a huge difference. Suddenly your team is TPing to you instead. So like this really strong probably number one net worth guy in the game is being TP'd to on his own side of the map instead of pushing out a lane and connecting to his team on the opposite side of the map. It's a huge difference, right? Huge difference. So the kill we got is just now we go push lanes, right? And so this is how it adds up. You know, what I would imagine is if you went through the gate here after killing this lane, and then you kill somebody here, this wave's pushed in, this wave's pushed in, this wave's pushed in, the whole map collapses on them now. But look at the amount of space they have to play the map, right? They still have a lot of space despite killing the meepo. Like, the map is basically 50-50 right now, and it's like, I just can't emphasize enough. It is those little times where you just don't clear waves. So this is better. You're going to go again. Nice, nice. Yeah, a little over pursuit, it looks like. Oh. Okay, so you died, which sucks. I don't know where your tide was, but he needed to connect to that. Okay, team doing a good job while you're dead. Okay, so as you're watching this, you're gonna TP mid, clear the wave, probably run towards the fight, which is what you're doing. Based on the fight, I would have turned around and pushed mid, but it looks like your team's actually going for a guy. Yeah, I probably would have turned around and pushed mid there. And just been like, I think my team's got him, and if they don't got him, it's like a risk you take. If you have God Strength, I'd definitely go for Roche right now because it's bottom and they're dead, and you have a bunch of wards. So this is like the perfect opportunity to just take Roche, because what you're effectively doing is forcing them to come fight you, and if they come fight you, you leave. So the reason you leave is because you don't have abilities, right? But now, like, you kind of all just played around Roche for a minute, and you just didn't do anything with it, really. So you're kind of like all playing the same part of the map, and no objective was taken, which feels really awful. Yeah, they're splitting you. So in this case, it's when they're splitting, you need to make them come to you. So you can make them come to you at an objective without the intention to fight them. So the two ways to deal with splitting, I mean, there may be a third, but like the two that are arising in this video or in this replay are sense of urgency to push waves when the enemy shows, and when you control an area that has a crucial objective in it, at the very least, you have to take that objective or threaten the objective. Because otherwise, like, now you guys just didn't get Roche, you lost top tier 2 tower, and the opponent's kind of like out farming you right now, and the lanes are being pushed out better than you are. So, I definitely say probably Wyvern and Tide, if I watch this replay back, probably did not push enough waves. Because as Sven, you can only do so much when you're against a bunch of disables. So now we control the top half again with Roche. Okay. So Meepo's kind of feeding. I would want you to TP mid right now, or bottom. See, like, running back out on the map right now is not good enough. Like, I would have TP'd bottom with the end of my God Strength and tried to look for an extra kill on these wards. Told somebody to come with me. You're kind of like, this would have been fine at 20 minutes, but at 31, it's not good enough, for sure. Higher sense of urgency as the game goes on. You guys are, like, walking down lanes to push towers. So I think my biggest notes for you is when you are out of lane jungling early, more monitoring of lane equilibrium such that you can maximize your stickiness to the lane. Prevents chip damage on tower and missing XP in lane. Then sense of urgency to push waves when enemy is showing. And then the last part is when you get kills, your we want to speed up where else we go when we get the kill. Oftentimes just walking down the lane that you were near, as opposed to TPing or gating to clear other waves, or to potentially chase for more kills when you still have your God Strength going. Basically, if you kill them here and you TP here, you also control this area now, right? By killing them here, they don't control this area anymore. None of them are going to go there, right? But by staying and doing this, the amount of area you control is this. But by killing him here, having you +1 TP here, and then do this, for the remainder of God Strength, you control not only this area, but also this area. So what you're experiencing when the opponent's like pushing so much of this is how much of the map are you controlling? When you didn't clear the wave top that one time, with you pushing this and then going through the gate, your team controls this entire area, and you also effectively control this, right? Like, none of them are going to go there. But when you just farm backwards defensively, then you control this area, and your team is like dying down here, so the opponent controls this area. So I just want you to think of your farming patterns and all of these tips I'm giving you about I'm trying to maximize the amount of area on the map you control, because that's how you prevent these split pushing antics. It's not preventing, it's how you do it better than them so that it's less of a problem in whatever given matchups. So yeah, I mean, somebody on your team was supposed to be bottom, but now we're like stuck combating Roche, which is the problem. So you like ran all the way bottom. You're going to... I would TP to your team right now. I'd TP right now. We really want to go to our team right now. This is so scary to me that you're just away from your team and Roche is top. And they just got Roche. Oh, man. Ooh. Yeah, this like... the fact that your team's literally sitting on Roche and you go bottom, that means like... I know you have to go bottom, but you're walking bottom with the intent to go back to your team after you've fixed bottom. Like, that needs to be the mindset. So, like, right after this wave, I'm TP mid right now. Right now. Literally right now. Your Storm's ready to buy back. You cannot give them this Roche. This is your team needs to know that you're doing this to fix the wave. So the communication is like, hey, I'm fixing bottom. I'll be back in 20 seconds or whatever. And then your team's job for the next 20 seconds is to not die. That is literally their job. And I know you guys are party queuing. So, like, but if you're not intending to return, or this communication's not happening, then they are going to feel panicked because they know they're trying to control Roche and they don't want to give it up. So for me, if you're asking like why this game goes long, honestly, the not taking Roche at 28 combined with this execution really fucked the game. Like, these are by far the biggest like team-wide and individual, win rate altering plays. So, like, I would imagine between, if I'm going to look at the graph, between 21, or it was when did you not push top? Like 24? I may be wrong, but like, I think when you didn't push top through 36, the graph just went down. Let me see. You had BKB when I talked about it. I'm going to fast forward. So it's right here. So 2230. 2230. It went fine for a while, and then it went... Phew. So 2230 was right here. So it went a bit better for you guys, because you got some kills right here. But yeah, then it just got worse. But then you guys make it better, and then what happens at... I mean, the thing about this is, if we want to clean these games out, these type of things happen when we don't play the map properly. And if we play the map properly, it goes like this, right? Like, obviously, you can't do that every game where it looks like this. But a lot of the trickling down is the map play. But when it's, like, jumping like this, it's, like, usually a result of inconsistent map play, leading with, like, unstable fights. So, for me, I mean, I'm going to fast forward a bit to 48 and just see what happened late game, just to give you a little bit of insight. But I do think the majority of what went wrong here has already happened. So you need Satanic. I'm not sure why you haven't bought it yet. You definitely need a Satanic. I think, you know, I've fallen into this beta Sven where you, like, don't have damage, but you need a fucking Satanic for sure. What's going on with you? Yeah, you just don't have Satanic. You're fucked. Yeah. Yeah, this is just not having a Satanic. Yeah, if you have Satanic there, you lose half your HP to the Cataclysm, you BKB blink in, hit somebody, and get all your life back. But without Satanic, you can't do that. So, honestly, at this stage, it's just having a lack of a Satanic. I've learned this lesson before. It's like this problem of I don't have enough damage, but you have Swift Blink, you had 9k gold. I don't think there's... You know, Satanic just completely warps the way you're able to play the fights. Then we buy back. No God Strength. Yeah, and then I think the map is, like, really hard to play now. Yeah, I mean, that was the fight. Like, we see the graph at 49. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm going to wrap up the replay there. I think there were some good takeaways. Overall, definitely saw the emphasis on improvement from, like, jungling dynamically, but we now need you to be returning to lane. So before you were sitting in lane too much, and now you're jungling too much. So we just need to, like, tilt the balance a little bit back the other way. So that's it for that.